You were never alone in your childhood room. Most people say they were afraid of the dark as children. That isn't true. What they were afraid of was the feeling that the dark was already occupied. It usually comes back later in life, not as a nightmare, not as a memory you can clearly see. It returns as a sensation, a pressure behind the eyes, a sudden certainty that something you dismissed as imagination was never imaginary at all. Adults from different cities began reporting the same thing. They didn't know each other. They didn't share stories online. Most of them didn't even believe in the paranormal. They only said one sentence, phrased differently every time. There was someone in my room when I was a child. Not someone who spoke, not someone who moved, someone who stayed. They described lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. The room always looked the same, posters on the wall, a door half open, moonlight touching the floor. And in the corner of the room, or beside the closet, or just beyond the edge of their vision, something. It never approached. It never breathed loudly. It never reached out. It waited. Most children don't turn around when they feel watched. They learn very early that some instincts exist for a reason. So they stayed still, held their breath, pretended to sleep. And the thing let them. Years later, as adults, they struggle to explain why the memory feels wrong. Not scary in the usual way, not dramatic. Wrong in the way a misremembered room feels wrong, like furniture placed slightly off, like a clock that ticks too slowly. Some remember trying to call out. Their voices wouldn't come, not because they were afraid, but because something in the room didn't want to be acknowledged. A few remember a rule they never learned consciously.
If I don't look at it, it won't move. That rule worked. Every night, the same presence, same distance, same silence. It never sat on the bed, never touched them, never leaned closer. It simply made sure they fell asleep. What disturbed researchers wasn't the similarity of the stories, it was the consistency of the descriptions. Same height, same stillness, same location in the room, and always the same detail. They couldn't see its face. Not because it was dark, not because they were hiding under blankets. Their minds simply refused to process it. There was something there, but my eyes slid off it. One woman said that when she tried to focus, she felt dizzy, a pressure behind her temples, as if her brain was correcting an error. A man said the presence felt polite, like someone waiting their turn. Another said it felt disappointed when he stayed awake too long. That detail appeared again and again and again. The thing didn't like delays. As children, they assumed everyone experienced this. They never told their parents. Why would they? You don't report gravity. You don't question walls. You especially don't question something that has always been there. The first major anomaly appeared when one subject mentioned something new. It stopped coming when I moved rooms. He was 8 years old. His parents repainted the house. He was moved to a different bedroom. The first night in the new room was silent, empty. He slept better than he ever had. That should have been comforting. Instead, it felt like abandonment. Others began remembering the same thing.
The presence didn't follow. It was tied to the room. Not the house, not the child, the room. Some tried to return years later as adults, out of curiosity, out of unease. Many of the rooms no longer existed. renovated, demolished, converted. Those who did manage to stand inside their childhood bedrooms reported a strange reaction. Their bodies relaxed immediately, their breathing slowed, their thoughts softened. One man sat on the floor and began to cry without knowing why. "It feels like it's still here, but it doesn't need me anymore." Sleep studies revealed something deeply unsettling. Subjects exposed to recordings of their childhood bedrooms, the specific ambient noises, frequencies, silence, entered REM sleep faster than average, much faster, as if something inside them recognized the conditions, as if they were being allowed. The phrase began appearing in separate testimonies, unprompted. "It was waiting for me to be safe." That didn't make sense. Safe from what? Nightmares? Intruders? The dark? No. One subject finally articulated what the others felt but couldn't name. "It wasn't protecting me from something outside the room. It was protecting me from waking up too early." That sentence caused the interviews to stop, because once you hear it, you start remembering things you shouldn't. Like how the presence was always gone by morning, never seen in daylight, never felt when others were awake. Like how children who shared rooms never reported it, only those who slept alone. Like how it always stood where mirrors couldn't reflect it. And the final detail, the one almost everyone remembered at the same time, it was always facing them. Not watching the room, not watching the door, watching them. Waiting for the exact moment their breathing changed, waiting for sleep to take hold. One woman recalled waking up once in the middle of the night, not fully, just enough to feel panic. The presence reacted instantly. It leaned forward, not closer, just enough for her to understand. Not yet. She fell asleep immediately. No dream, no transition, just darkness. Parents were questioned. None noticed anything unusual, no strange behavior, no disturbances, but several admitted something unsettling when pressed. Their children never fought bedtime, never asked to sleep with the light on, never came to their room at night. They went to bed quietly, calmly, as if someone else had already convinced them it was safe. One researcher made a mistake. He asked a subject what they thought the presence was doing now. The subject didn't hesitate. "It's still there. The room just doesn't need me anymore." That same night, the researcher couldn't sleep. Not because he was afraid, because his childhood bedroom, the one he hadn't thought about in decades, suddenly felt very full in his memory. He remembered the corner by the door, the way the darkness pooled there, the strange comfort of being watched. And something else, something he hadn't remembered before. The presence wasn't waiting for him to fall asleep. It was waiting for him to grow up. Because children sleep easily, they accept things without question. Adults don't. Adults notice when the silence has weight, when a room feels occupied. That's why it never appears now. It doesn't need to. It already knows how long you can stay awake, how much awareness you can tolerate, how close you are to remembering. And every so often, when you lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, when you feel that old pressure behind your eyes, that isn't fear, that's recognition. You were never alone in your childhood room, and whatever waited there was very patient.